Pod.
Rugby pod.
Season 10, we're back.
Season 10, we are back. We are back. A decade of rugby chat.
Have I had to listen and smell your bad breath for 10 years?
Let's not start on a negative. We're better than that now, Andrew.
We are. But it's good fun, though. I haven't seen you for a bit, so we've got to get stuck into each other.
Yeah, well, it's great to be back. It is great to be back with the great Dan Bigger in the studio as well. The retired Dan Bigger.
Recently retired Dan Bigger. I've
Smaller
gone for the
arms.
Andrew Goode diet training regime.
Whoa, what's that?
Just
You put a few pounds
enjoy
on?
myself. I have put a few pounds on.
You've
But
gone up
I've started doing some 5Ks, which
I can't do that.
which has been something. I felt like I had to get out of the house. So I came back from Australia, and I was, you just felt a little bit. Looked at yourself a bit and thought...
Never have, no.
Never looked at himself in the mirror. Well, let's do the obligatories. Producer Rob's
Who
in the
else is here?
studio.
Oh, Rob's here. He's
We're back,
happy.
lads. We're back.
We are back. We've already said that, but that's
back
fine.
again.
Yeah, we're
I'm
back
back.
again.
I've
Rob
been
is back
sacked.
again. He's
I've
not
been
been
sacked.
sacked. We've actually levelled up. You've now delegated. We've got another body in the studio as well.
We have.
Intern Ben.
You've got an understudy.
Yeah.
What's your role now this season, Rob?
Head of content.
Head of content.
Yeah. They let me
content.
choose my own title though. I feel like I should have chosen
So
something
is
more
that what you've got on
prestigious.
LinkedIn? Head
Yeah.
of content.
Yeah.
So why didn't you bring your fucking camera the other week when we were doing some content?
Forgot.
There we go.
But we're also going to give a shout out to Ben as well, who is our creative liaison advisor. But we are levelling up. So not only are we growing the team, we're saving the game of rugby.
Saving.
We are. Yeah.
Well, not just the game, the Grassroots game, and a very historical rugby club called
Rugby Lions.
the Rugby Club.
The Rugby Club. The
Rugby
Rugby Lions.
Lions.
Basically Rugby Lions as
Where are
well.
they
But we'll
based?
get onto that. They're, believe it or not, they're in rugby.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there is a place called Rugby, and it was a thing back in the day. But they need saving, so we'll get into that as well.
We've got a bit to chat around the Rugby Championship down in the Southern Hemisphere. Belting weekend of two games.
Our head of content missed that because he was still hungover from the Falcons, the Red
can't-
Bull.
Yeah,
You
the
can't call them
Falcon's still
Falcons.
for me.
Right.
Falcon's still for me
Yeah.
at the minute.
The Newcastle
from
Falcons.
the Newcastle Red Bull evening on Friday night, Rob, weren't you?
It was a good night. A hell of a night. And I think an apology is necessary, lads.
What for?
I've had about 10 Falcons/Red Bulls fans message me saying, when are Jim and Goody apologising?
About what?
About what?
Oh, it's not happening. The deal's not
Hang on,
happening.
who
It's
said that?
not
Hang on a
happening."
minute. Go on, Andrew.
You said that, James, didn't you?
Yes, I actually broke the news
I'm not having
4
it.
months before.
That's not how I remember it.
Oh, of course, head of content ain't got a clue what's going on. So, yeah, anyway, it's great to see Red Bull or Bulls. I don't even know what's what because the Adobe logo. I'm not being horrible. That's fine. Let's get straight into it.
And on that note, we've got Steve Diamond coming on to tell us who's getting paid what, how much he's taking.
And who did the logo?
Exactly. It's good that the Newcastle Falcons are now the Newcastle Red Bulls, and they're saved.
Are they the Bulls or the Bull? Red Bull, Newcastle Red Bull or Bulls? No one knows.
Red
Anyway.
Bullocks.
Have they released any of the funds yet?
Look, he's interested now, isn't he? He's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
And on that note,
Biggs, your back's all right, is it? So settle back, enjoy, and make sure you're subscribed on Spotify. 10 years of absolute gibberish. And we're back for, who'd have thought this, 10 years ago, when we first got on to our podcast, talking into a mic, that would be sat here in the Spotify studios 10 years later. What the heck?
we started a podcast before podcasting was a thing in many people's lives.
Did you
and
start
ears.
podcast? Is that what you're saying?
Well, my thing is, Biggs, and I've always spoken about this, I listened to podcasts before they were a thing. Joe Rogan was out, and the biggest podcasts were crime podcasts. So
Mrs. Bigger loves a true crime podcast.
well, there you
as
go.
well.
This was the original OG serial that was out there. And 10 years ago, we started this journey. And not to say that we are pioneers, innovators, but on the back of a fag packet, we kind of are. Because there's loads of podcasts out there now, isn't there, of doing it. So to get to 10 years and, yeah, early on, we're going to thank the fans. We have to.
I think that's what it's about. Yeah, and like people said to me, where was I? I was somewhere the other day and the guys were like, I was at Biggleswade Rugby Club and they were like, do people talk to you about your rugby career? I'm like, no, they absolutely don't. No one remembers our rugby career because it was years and years and years ago. But we're known as podcasters now, aren't we? So a massive thanks to everyone that listens, has listened, does listen, used to listen, might have gone away, come back. But it's amazing that we've got to 10 years, and a massive thank you and appreciation to everyone who's downloaded, subscribed, and listened to the absolute trash that we talk.
When you say trash, influenza.
I listened to the first one again the other day, you know.
How was it?
The very, 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 very,
The
very
very
first.
first
I'm
one.
scared to listen back to them.
You should,
I'll be honest.
as head of content, you should post that out
Yeah.
just to see where the boys have come.
It was shit, yeah.
Was it? Well, I imagine it was.
Yeah,
I had no idea what we were doing.
There's a lot of chat about bushes, but
Oh,
How
well,
good was that,
very
though?
silly.
That was-
It was good. It was great. I only had 2 kids at the time to think where the life has gone, and there's a responsibility now. And that's the big thing in this. I feel like where the game is now, there is a responsibility from our show, because it's the masses, that yes, we have to speak honestly about it. Yes, we have to stay credible. And yes, we need to grow the team. But to speak about it in a positive way as well. And then that's sometimes difficult.
I
And
mean, I use the word honest as opposed
Yeah.
to. We have to be positive, but you also have to be honest.
Well,
which
this is
sometimes
where,
is negative.
Yeah, honesty and negativity get crossed. But I just feel as if we're in this point of the game now where there is a lot of good news stories off the back of the Lions, Biggs. You were there in Australia, and the buzz around that, and how good the championship has been, and then we're rolling into the autumn, and then the Six Nations.
You're
Yeah.
positive because you've had a few weeks off with the kids, aren't you?
Let's see where we go.
It is a good point though, because like rugby is in a bit of a fragile state, isn't it? So like as many people who can be positive around, we know we're joking about the Newcastle Red Bulls, but investment into the league, investment into the Prem, it's only going to make things better. The autumn, some amazing games in the autumn. Prem is back. Europe's going to be coming back. It's like off the back of a winning Lions series as well. Let's just pile in at the start of the season, be positive. And yeah, like you've said, if you have to be honest and you have to call it as it is, you can't say it's black if it's white and vice versa. But I think just get behind the game at the minute, because it needs, like you said, Joe, I couldn't agree more. It needs people getting behind it at the minute.
Yeah,
So
and
what were you two saying about the Newcastle Red Bulls badge?
we'll get on to that. Yeah, we'll get on to that as well.
That's where the positivity ends.
That's where the honesty starts. But this is what I mean. You, off the back of the Lions, which was awesome, Biggs, and you were there with the great Rowan Nogara. It's coming back. Getting the right people in the room and getting the right people to sell and to speak about our game has never been more important. And that, to the core of me, I know. So to be 10 years into this and be able to do that and have a responsibility and bring in guests, bring in coaches and do all that, yeah. But as well as the podcast and us being positive about that, we need to do something about it. We can't just sit here and talk about it and pass judgment and say this needs to happen. We're actually doing something about it, Andrew.
We need to be doers, James. We need
We
to
are.
be big time doers. And we are.
We're saving Grassroots
Wow.
rugby.
Well, we're saving Grassroots.
Big shout.
With a huge sponsor and helper in Camden Town Brewery. So we are doing what Ryan Reynolds has done to Wrexham FC.
Hang on, which one of you is Ryan Reynolds?
Well,
we
I'm
had
right.
this, we had this debate. I haven't watched the programme, so I don't even know who the other one is.
Well, it's not. It's a crossover between Jeremy Clarkson's farm and we are Wrexham. So I'm Ryan Reynolds.
And I'm Clarkson.
Goodey's Jeremy Clarkson.
Take that, Clarkson's a legend.
Think media, entertainment, crossing into culture. That's what we're doing now. So really cool to spend a bit of time at Rugby Lions. I nearly signed for them back in the day. I don't want to give too much of it away because we're doing a feature on them. They're a club that have really struggled over the last few years. And for people who don't know the history of Rugby Lions or rugby specifically, rugby, it started in rugby.
Rugby at rugby school.
At rugby school in rugby.
Yep.
And for rugby to not have a team of any decency is a bit of a shame. So, backed by Camden Town Brewery and the Rugby Pod, Ryan Reynolds and Jeremy Clarkson,
There we go.
we're going to the club, Rob. And
I actually can't believe he thinks he's like Ryan Reynolds.
No, but we're having to make some kind of comparison to what we're doing.
What's your
with people.
comparison to Ryan Reynolds?
Hollywood, baby.
There you
So you know when you two boys come to watch a game on a Saturday afternoon, are they going to be up in the ticket prices? Are they going to be sort of
we just
sponsors?
need to get some people through the door.
Not yet.
effectively.
Not yet. But on that note, the whole point of this, what are we calling it? Like activation, cry to help. Like, Rob, you're the head of content. What are we calling it? What is it?
Well, I thought we were saving grassroots rugby. I thought
Saving
that's what we were
grassroots
saying.
Big
rugby.
shout, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's the Give 'em Hells campaign.
It is.
The Give 'em Hells campaign with Camden Town Brewery. They need our help.
so since this grand Welcome to Wrexham style takeover, how are they getting on this year?
There's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you tell us, Rob. You tell us. How have they got on? We know how they've got on.
Well, they're 11th
Okay.
in the league.
Out of
Well, 12.
Okay. So we ain't bottom. That's a positive.
Not bottom.
Yeah. We're not Newcastle, so we're not bottom of the league.
Hey,
Don't forget I saved Newcastle. Yeah, it's not been a great start to the season, but a lot of this campaign is about a club that are at the very bottom of their history, trying to drag them back up, trying to get eyes on them in the area, trying to get players down because the youth system there has fallen by the wayside and they've got some teams back, but there's a big dearth of players there. So there's a women's team as well, which is great, but it's all about trying to regenerate and regrow the club with Camden Town Brewery and trying to get Rugby Lions back to some sort of level where historically, I watched them as a 9-year-old kid beat Harlequins at Webb Ellis Road, which is what the ground is called. And that's where we need to get them back to, smashing Harlequins again. Will Carlin went on the pitch. Will Carlin wouldn't give me his autograph. And I went to my dad and said, "Who's that? He's a knob."
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he is.
Well,
It'd be a big come down for Marcus Smith going to Webb Ellis Road in a minute, wouldn't it?
well, the back end of his career he might, because we're going to take them back to the top. But we're going to take them back to the top because with the help of our audience. Because on the 4th of October, Biggs, I know you'll be there. And if you're not, we're bringing another Welsh Dragon. But they've got a home game on October the 4th, and we're going to be
It's
there.
their first home game.
Their first home game.
Yeah, of the season.
And so it's a kind of a rallying call. If you listen to the podcast and you're around that area, even if you're in Devon or you're in the islands of Scotland, come done. Come up
Come done.
to Rugby Lions because it'll cost you £5. What do they get for the £5, Rob, if they come?
Well, we're going to do a live show.
Oh, we are doing a live show.
Yes.
Of course we are. That's what we do.
Directors of rugby, then a live show.
Yeah.
Camden Town Brewery are going to give everyone a free beer.
Yeah. So it's basically you pay £5, you get a free beer, you get to listen to me and Jim, you get to watch a game. I mean, that is value for money, and there ain't much value for money at the minute in this world.
Well, I mentioned, Biggs, you're doing your thing at the minute in transition, which now means transition of what we thought of old, not the other transition. But if you can't come, there's going to be a special guest coming. Yeah.
Any more clues, Jim? Or?
A dragon. Just think that.
Dragon?
Have you seen the dragon? That's all I'm saying. Have you seen the fucking dragon? I'm
Gavin
probably giving
Henson.
it away there.
Gavin Henson?
Yeah, you're really selling it now. But there'll be someone there that can sell you a dragon, and I'm all there for it. So get your mates there. £5 a ticket. You'll get a free pint, as head of content Roberto said. And where are the tickets? On ticketpass.org.
Yes, ticketpass.org, James. You're up there.
Yeah.
Just got to search the Rugby Pod and get your tickets. Get yourself down there. 4th of October in Rugby. We'll see you there. Come on, Rugby Lions. Come on, Rugby
Look at
Lions.
us, we're giving it back.
Come on, you Rugby Lions.
Yeah, that's not selling it to me. mate.
Why are they sponsoring Rugby RFC and not Stockton RFC's second team? That's what I want to know.
Well, they're sponsoring the rugby club, which is Rugby Lions. A club that has gone to the lowest of the lows and had been at a pretty high level, financial issues and all that malarkey. So they're trying to build the club back up. But any club, any grassroots club, Stockton, get yourself involved.
What do we get?
Well, any grassroots club can sign up to the Give 'em Hells campaign. They get £1,000 if they stock Camden Hells. Free money. Free money.
Show me the money.
Just make sure you stock Camden Hells in your bar and they'll come and sort all that for you. So what you have to do is follow Camden Town Brewery on Instagram and message them to get involved. But it's the Give 'em Hells campaign. Get your Camden Hells, get your Camden Stout in your clubhouse. You get £1,000. You get discount off TNT Sports subscriptions. You'll have people in the clubhouse all the time, lads.
You will. And
I'll come for a beer or 10.
All right. Be chaos.
Yeah.
Give mouse.
Have you been enjoying the Rugby Championship, lads?
Yes, I have actually. Some belting games. And it's probably, I might be completely wrong with this, but I'll say it anyway. Probably the first time you get to round 4 and they're all played for, 1-2, lost 2. And obviously it is so tight in there. We've seen some bizarre results from an outsider's point of view. No one would have given Australia a chance to go and win at altitude in Johannesburg, which they did. Argentina have beaten New Zealand at home for the first time ever, which is massive news. Remember when Ireland did that? That was a mega thing as well.
Should we be surprised at Argentina winning against New Zealand, winning against Australia?
No.
Because I looked at that back line that they put out on Saturday. Just read this out. Malia, Isco, Cinti, Chocobares, Carreras at 10, Santi, and Garcia.
They sound fit. They sound fit, don't they?
They played some duet, I tell you.
But do you know what I mean? like
World class.
That's a world class backline in every position.
Yeah.
So you think
So it's
you're
not a
thinking-
surprise,
So it's
no.
not a surprise. Yeah,
No.
I know it sounds a surprise. Argentina beating New Zealand, Argentina beating Australia.
Yeah.
But when you put those players in amongst it with Montoya,
Kremer was on.
Kremer was brilliant.
size of him.
Gonzalez, it's like
Gonzalez.
it's
Do you
not
see
a-
his chip and go?
it's not a surprise, is it? That
But
they,
I think it's because historically, like with the championship, when it was the Tri-Nation, so
Yeah.
if you're a traditionalist and the fact that a lot of the Argentinian players are scattered around, they have quite a scattered
yeah.
calendar.
They've got
when
no
they
professional
play.
team in their own country.
Yeah, so there's a number of things that makes you think subconsciously that they're not as good as they actually are. But that game against the Lions obviously beat England as well. Was it last
When?
year or the year
When?
before? A couple of years ago.
We smashed them 2-0 in the summer, pal, with our third team.
No, okay, sorry. Yeah, well, that was the one surprise
I
actually. which
think they
was
were using
bizarre.
that as a warm up. I
No,
think for the
whoa,
Rugby
whoa.
Championship. Goodey.
But in the
They did rest a
alternations,
few,
when they
Yeah.
came over and England were under the pump, and they beat them there as well.
What I thought they've done really well in this, they've kind of gone back to a little bit of the old Argentinian in terms of just rolling the sleeves up, playing a territory-based game, kicking to compete. So like I think they won pretty much every high ball on the weekend against Australia. And I couldn't believe it. 20. What was the score? 28-26
Yeah.
to Argentina. So if I told you the stats right for some of these games, Australia scored 4 tries to 1, had 11 line breaks to 4, won 7 turnovers to 3. And they end up losing the game by 2 points.
Discipline, Jim Hamilton, you were there.
14 penalties.
It was basically you, James.
Hey, Argentina is still bottom though of the championship, so we are talking them up. And there was a great pass in that game as well that wasn't forward. If you're,
The last try for Australia.
oh my word, so the
Yeah.
scoreline didn't reflect the game.
Let's not be negative and go
No,
into
sorry.
the referee.
No, I
Christoph,
do like the
Christoph
refs.
Ridley has got a bit of abuse.
Oh, I
for
did
his
see
refereeing.
that. I don't want to add to the fire.
Well, you just did.
I did.
On the biggest rugby podcast in the world.
I
and
did.
you just basically
on
said,
season 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Great
no,
game,
it is
great game.
the tournament itself, and it's alive this year because the games have been quality, and there's been, to a neutral observer, probably some surprise results. No bigger surprise than Australia winning in Joburg, which they haven't done for 80 odd years.
That's
or
the
whatever
big
it
shift,
is.
Goody, is Australia.
Yeah.
So in all this, because Argentina have been doing it, like they haven't won it, like you said, England went down there and beat them 2-0. Australia is the one. I tweeted it 2 years ago.
Oh, he's still going on about that.
Physically, they are near the top table, and then I tweeted it a couple of weeks ago. They're back at the top table. They're the one now that have come in here and mixed it up and really added to the competition again.
I think another 2 years with a home World Cup, they could be in a much stronger position
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say though, like Skelton, I don't even want to know what his contract renewal is going to be like. The 2 games he doesn't play, I mean, they obviously just got over the line in the last play of the game the week before and then lost it last weekend. You're just thinking, like, you look at the difference he made in that Australia team against the Lions. It was chalk and cheese. I said it before that sort of second and third test. I didn't think one man could make as much of a difference. But you just look at every team he plays in.
Well, tell Rog that he hates Australia. Apparently, he got filled in by an Australian McRae. So it's like, you're not having World Scouts. He's pulled it back, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And this is so fucking negative.
Why rightly so?
What? Because he pulled it because La Rochelle are paying his wages.
Right.
So that's why, and they
But
want
not
him.
rightly so, because you should be allowed to be released.
No, I don't agree with.
You just
it
said rightly so.
from Roger's point of
Oh,
view.
yeah.
So from the club's point of view, and this is where there needs to be a shift now, because we're watching the Championship as we watch the Six Nations. You want the very best players. Will Skelton is probably Australia's best player, and he's not playing, which is crazy. But that's their fault because they don't have their players playing in there. They don't have control. But that, for me, is where, we talk about global alignment.
Yeah.
That's the perfect kind of snapshot and visual of how that needs to look.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that he's not playing, right? Because you want to see the best players on the biggest stage, as we've always said. But also, like you said, La Rochelle presumably have the right in his contract to say, we'll release you when we want to release you.
What's
as
your mate
opposed to-
Roger saying?
But
What's he saying?
Will Skelton would have known that when he signed. Joe Schmidt would have known that when he selected
Yeah.
him. So
Yeah.
he's got the choice. He's got the choice of not selecting him in the. You know what I mean, in terms of first place or not. But those it's like the Six Nations. I don't agree with the Six Nations rule that even in the down weeks players
No.
have to go back.
Yeah.
I think if you're in
Oh, it
camp,
depends who you are. If you're Welsh or Scottish or anything else, yeah, get back there.
get back your club.
get the graft on, lads.
I'm
because-
with you, babes.
and the Frenchies. And the Frenchies get it back.
Ridiculous.
But I'm not a fan of it. But look, it's in. If you're Rog, for argument's sake, obviously a bit of a difficult year last year under pressure and things like that. You want same as what Joe Schmidt had to come back and get Skelton back in after that first test.
Yeah.
You want your best players and your biggest players in there, and he's because he's going to go away for the autumn again, probably for 3 or 4 weeks, isn't he? So he's probably on a decent contract.
So Will Skelton, I wouldn't say decent, I'd say fucking unreal, and rightly so.
It does show you with Australian rugby that, it felt like it's been a quick fix. It hasn't been a quick fix, and maybe Welsh listeners or Biggs, you'll have some ideas on this going into the season.
Don't be negative about Wales, James.
I'm
Two
not.
clubs.
This was me about to be positive, okay? And it is going to be 2 clubs. Apparently they're keeping the Drags. That's all I'm hearing. genuinely. But it is fixable and it is salvageable. And clearly the Lions tour has given that Australia team so much financially, but has now given them a platform and confidence because of their performances.
You look at the spine of the team, and I know that Tupou's going to Racing, isn't he? So he's not going to be in the country. But you look at the spine of the team: Tighthead, Tupou, Skelton, Valentini. Nick White's shortest retirement ever, but he's looked the real deal coming back in, isn't he? Whether it's him or Tate McDermott off the bench. Then you've got Swahili and
he was good.
Tom Wright at the
Swahili
at the
was
back.
good at the weekend.
The one area of concern you'd have is at 10 probably for them in terms of James O'Connor's been excellent, certainly in that first game against South Africa. But is he the 10 that's going to get you to the next World Cup? They've tried Edmund, they've tried Liner.
I actually don't mind. What do you reckon to Edmund?
I think he's good. I think he's got the potential. I don't know if he's quite there yet. Again, that's why I say another 2 years. And obviously they lost Loaseo, didn't they, before the Lions tour? And everyone sort of thought, is Loaseo the player that Australia need? But what he is a steady Eddie player. He gives you 6.5, 7 out of 10. And when you've got Ikitau, when you've got Swahili, when you've got Kellaway and Tom Wright and these guys around you, Valentini, Skelton, you almost don't need to be overcomplicating things.
No.
You need someone who's just understands the system, understands how the team want to play, and can get the best out of those weapons around him. So I think that's made a big difference.
You said then about he's a 6.5, 7 out of 10. Jim, you'd have been fucking delighted with those figures, wouldn't you?
I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But what
Biggs is talking about it like he's shit, but he's a 6.5 out. So.
I think 6.5 is 6.5 is a positive.
I'll take that every day of the week.
There's rumours that Mark Nwonganitawase is coming back as well, which will be mega for them. And the money that they made from the Lions allows them to invest in them players. I think that this is one of the great modern rugby stories.
Well,
I do, of how they've managed to pull it back.
Yeah.
And you've got to give credit. Who to?
Joe Schmidt.
There you go.
And this is the big
it's
thing.
undeniable.
This is what I was about to say, right?
Eddie knew this was coming.
This is
It's
what
him. He put the foundations in place.
This is what I'm about to say. Everyone's forgetting how much of a shit show it was under Eddie Jones, right? And they've recovered from that now because of Joe Schmidt and how he treats people, and where it just shows how much of a cowboy Eddie Jones was when he was there.
That's negative.
It's
for me.
truthful. It's honest.
I'm digging the positives
It's
out
honest.
of it. But
Here's a question. Does it actually matter who turns up in 2027, or are the Springboks just going to absolutely stroll it?
me and Biggs were talking about this in the green room.
No.
Okay, well, you give your opinion and then let Biggs literally unravel some of the information he's got.
The Springboks
It's
looked,
ridiculous.
That second half, they looked unplayable at times. But I think they're going to be in a bit of a sticky situation now, because obviously he rested or didn't pick a load of his senior players. And yes, they've got unbelievable strength in depth, but sometimes that becomes an issue when you've got all that strength in depth and you don't know who to pick, or you've got some senior players that are getting moved aside. And so it was amazing to watch the Springboks in that second half. Let's not forget they lost the week before with a more experienced team on paper. But this is the beauty of rugby at the minute. The Springboks with that team against Australia, when they lost at home in Jobo, no one, I don't care who you are, no one is saying, I really fancy Australia to go and do a job there. And they won it in a real weird way, big second half comeback and all that stuff and whatever. But the Springboks, they're the best team in the world. Actually, they are world number 1 ranking now, James. They're back to number 1. Look at how but there is, obviously they are probably favourites, but the World Cup's a long way out. It's 2 years, lads. 2 years.
It's a long way out, but I was quite interested.
England, look how good we are.
I've seen everybody saying how perfect and how amazing the Springboks were on the weekend, and they were, right?
Second half.
But they gave up 24 turnovers. which 24 is a ridiculous amount.
A lot in the first half.
A lot in the first half.
Yeah.
But you think of a team at like 24 turnovers. That's unheard of from a team. I think it was, what were they? They were 14 the week before or something. So you just think, the one thing I will say, you say about the strength and depth and players being like, what Erasmus has created there, he's created a club environment where almost you've got 45, 50 players who do not care or have egos about. You've only got to listen to Sir Khaleesi afterwards in terms of, he said if his job is 45 minutes and he's done, and somebody, Quagga Smith, comes on and finishes the job, then he's as happy as seeing it off. And I think sometimes
when you drop that player,
but
we've all been there.
But what I mean is, I think sometimes you can. I've been in teams and I've seen people say it where they think, oh yeah, it's a team point. As long as this guy does well and the team win, we're happy. And I know that isn't the point for some people. But with this team, I genuinely think it's the case. And I've only got to look at what happened in the first 10 minutes on Saturday. They lost their 9, 10, 15 and second row. And every player that they brought on, so they lost Diaga in the row.
Yeah.
And they brought Snyman on.
Yeah. I mean, that ain't too bad, is it?
They lost Reinach in the first 5 minutes, brought for HIA, brought Grant Williams on.
Yeah.
They lost Sasha
Feinberg,
Sasha Feinberg. So they lost Sasha Feinberg in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Brought Lebok on.
Yeah.
They lost.
How good was it for Marnie Lebok, by the way, to play in that way? Have
and
that
knock some
impact
goal
on the
kicks
game?
over as well.
When he's been hounded by South Africans, by other people around the world about his performances in it. Because I think he started when they lost to Australia.
Yeah.
In Joburg.
Yeah.
And everyone's like that. He'll never play for the Box again.
But then like they lose Fassi then.
Yeah.
And they bring.
He was keen on the piss, Fassi. Loves the
but they bring Esterhazen on, who's probably a better 12 than Willemsen. And they move Willemsen back to fullback. So every player, like what other team can cope with losing 4 players in key positions like that after 10 minutes?
I'd say England.
Well, me and Biggs were talking about
We are coming,
it.
lads. We've got Lee Blackett. We are coming.
But then you look at, we say about the squad, right? This was a team which had a 23, which had no Pollard, no Faf de Klerk, no Mpimpy, no Am, no Etzebev, no Mostard, no Bongi, no Diolande, no Creel, no Curtly Aronson, Malherb, and Willie LaRue. So what my point is, it doesn't matter if there's a few guys who are hanging on a little bit.
Move them all on. Retire them all.
You've got enough in there to sort of to get, and they can win games in different ways. I thought they were really smart this weekend because last week they tried to play, or the week before they played in Eden Park, and they tried to just physically batter the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And the All Blacks just muscled up. The All Blacks missed 46 tackles this week because South Africa moved the point of attack. Point of attack. They played a lot of balls out the back, so they were running at shoulders, not into bodies. And I just thought it was just a masterclass in how to manoeuvre the game and win contacts. And don't forget, they had a try disallowed and Colby's knocked one on over the line.
How ridiculous was the start of the game, though? Like, I'm watching that, and it was so quick, so physical. The skill level from both teams through the roof, and then second half, your Springboks, James, just blew him out the water.
There you go.
Cheslin Colby with the silly right foot step. That's undefendable. Everyone knows it's coming. See ya. He was ridiculous. Willemsen was ridiculous.
Yeah, Willemsen was excellent, wasn't he?
Poor old New Zealand. Biggest ever defeat. There's calls for them to never play a test match at Wellington again because they've got a
terrible record.
Shocking record.
It's crazy the psychology, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eden Park on the flip side of that.
A week ago, Eden Park, and then they played the Wallabies at Eden Park in 2 weeks because they can win there. But the Wallabies all fancy themselves now.
Cool tournament, eh?
Great tournament.
As good as the Six Nations?
Yes.
Do you think it is? Do you think it's as good as Six Nations?
It's up there. For me,
some of it's better.
Yeah, I put it out
some
there.
Some of it is better.
On social. Again, just poking a few bears. Cheslin Colby is the greatest South African player or greatest player in the world at the minute. Just poking a few bears, just to get us going, get us rolling again. I put that out there about the Championship. I've always loved the Championship. I loved the Tri-Nations. And then Argentina came in and it just felt like a little bit different. And then Super Rugby closed the doors. I know it's still going, but closed the doors on what it was before. But I love the Six Nations, and this is it doesn't really matter, but I've kind of started a bit of a debate online about what is better between the Six Nations and Championship, the tradition of the Six Nations, the fan interest of the Northern Hemisphere. But then people come back and say, yes, but when was the last time a Northern Hemisphere team won the World Cup?
2003, James, England. Johnny Wilkinson drop goal.
Exactly.
Sydney against Australia.
I remember it's my 21st birthday and I was English back then, so I do remember it. But I think the Championship is is brilliant. And
You need to call it the Rugby Championship, James.
I can call it whatever I like.
You call it the
Andrew.
Championship.
Of
It's called
course,
Rugby
they're calling it the Levo lipstick or something like that, are they as well?
Do you think it helps for those Southern Hemisphere teams they almost go from, the South African team's clearly a bit different and things, but you look at, they sort of spend a lot of time together, don't they? In a chunk. So they'll go basically the whole summer now in the Championship. Then they'll come into the autumn games and have another month together. And then they'll have their time off unless you
could hate someone by the end of that, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, but what I mean is you spend so much time together that you understand. It's like a club environment in a sense. Whereas with the Northern Hemisphere teams, you get 5 days before the first Six Nations game.
It's bitty.
And it's a bit, and there's a week break where players got to go back for their clubs. I know we said skeleton, but on the whole, players don't have to go back and play. So I just think that
do you know why that
maybe
is?
favours them in that sense.
Yeah, do you know why that is? Because in the Southern Hemisphere, they don't play games when the internationals play. Something we've always done in the Northern Hemisphere.
And that's where...
Well, there's no crossover in the season, is there? It's segregated.
Well, it's a little bit clearer as well, isn't it? And I think in New Zealand, I say that I think South Africa was different, but in New Zealand, they've always favoured the All Blacks over the clubs.
Yeah.
Whereas here, yes, naturally internationally is important, but the fact that the clubs are taking players back mid Six Nations, like we were talking about there,
Shows how
is just
important it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not doing that anymore,
Shows
though,
that-
are they? The clubs. And it's on a case-by-case basis. But and also in the Rugby Championship, you've got 4 different nations do it 4 different ways. So New Zealand, you have to play in New Zealand to play for New Zealand. Australia, I can play anywhere you want, lads, because...
Gitto's law.
Yeah, you've got Gitto's law. The Springboks...
Skelton's law now.
Yeah. The Springboks are all over the world, aren't they? There's loads of them in Japan, a few in the Northern Hemisphere. Some have gone back to South Africa, so they're all over the place. And Argentina haven't even got a professional team in their country. So you can't say, oh, that works really well because of this, because they're all 4 of them are very different in how they approach everything.
The Six Nations is, I mean, maybe it's because we feel we're at the atmosphere, we're in Dublin, Cardiff, London, whatever it is. There is something special about a Six Nations match day, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
In terms of whether it's Wales, England, in Cardiff, or Scotland, whatever it is, it's kind of like it really is a special feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think both have got their sort of merits.
I'd say they're on a par.
Yeah.
Well, I put it in ChatGPT because that now has become my best friend. The verdict, here we go. If you're judging on atmosphere, tradition and theatre, the Six Nation edges it.
Yeah.
So it's listening. As we're talking, this thing is listening. If you're judging on skill, intensity and global standard of play, the Rugby Championship is the sharper product.
There you go.
Shall I get him to say which one?
Let's get a mix. If we mix the two of them up.
Okay,
I
I'm
agree with that.
I'm going to ask Dave. I call him Dave. Give me one answer. Six Nations.
I
The
don't know.
Is that what it
history.
says?
Because he'll know that
He
I'm a
knows your
Scotland
location.
legend. He knows
He
me.
knows your location.
He
No,
knows
no,
you've won
no.
3 Six Nations games in your career,
He
James.
knows that I've won 3 wooden spoons, so it knows that I am drawn to that. The history, the rivalries, and atmosphere make it the best tournament in rugby.
Do you know what's really positive as a Welshman? You know all the stuff how positive we've just spoke about the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
Wales play Argentina, South Africa, New Zealand this
Oh,
autumn.
good luck.
So
Good luck. Well, England have got Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Argentina. And you look at that going, could win those 4 games, but you could also, with how good the Aussies are now, and New Zealand can be hot and cold, and Argentina are a wicked team, and Fiji are beating us. We could be played 4, won 4, or played 4, lost 4.
you need a nice cold rainy day for the Fijian game don't you, in Allianz Stadium.
Forget playing those buggers. So, lads, massive news broke over the summer. We have referenced it. It's been doing the rounds on social
Rob's
media.
happy.
Robert smiling from ear
Red
to
Bulls.
ear. The Red Bulls. Newcastle Falcon Red Bull or Red Bulls, we don't know. But it's amazing, I think. I'm going to say it right here, right now. That
I've been
Newcastle... Yeah, you're never in doubt. Okay?
Never in doubt.
You were
Never
right, Rob.
in doubt.
And you have a little bit of a touch on, don't you now?
A little bit.
Well, energy drink giant Red Bull, they are
Gives you wings.
the custodians, the guardians, the angels of the North. See what I've done there?
Yes,
Fuck, I
James.
could sell them the dream. But I'm not here to say the dream because we've got one of the, I'm going to call him the best in the business, Director of Rugby, Steve Diamond, to get the lay of the land of the Tun.
There we go. Dimes, how is it all? I mean, amazing turnaround from where the club was last year to have Red Bull Takeover and all that stuff. How hard has it been to keep the news and the plans and all that stuff to yourself as it all evolved? And how excited are you about the future now?
Well, I think A lot of credit must go to Seymour Goodey and Co. Finding the right investors always difficult, and we've got to say, first glimpses of Red Bull, it looks fantastic. I think they've made the right choice. I really do, with the future-proofing the game up north. A global brand like they are, so really pleased with that, and yeah, really excited. Our feet haven't touched the ground really. Fair play to them. They've left me and the rugby department to get on with it, and the recruitment. We're doing some work analytically as well as good old-fashioned referencing and stuff what you do to get the right players. So they've been really good, really, really positive environment. And we were in the Prem Cup on Friday night, lads. But just the fact they got over 9,000 people in the stadium for a Prem Cup game is remarkable, if I'm perfectly honest.
Unbelievable. Producer Rob was there. And look, on this podcast, Dimes, we, in the years gone by, naturally, you pass judgment. You have to say what you see, right? And having had mates play at Newcastle, when you think of the icons of the game, the great late Doddy Weir, Johnny Wilkinson, Rob Andrews, just to name a few.
Andy Goode.
Andrew Goode as well. It's been a real shame watching what's happened at Newcastle, producing some of the best players that are carving up in the Premiership in other teams now, like Adam Radwan, Guy Pepper, just to name two from kind of last season, the back end of last season. How close were you to it all being over?
Yeah, I think very close. I think if the deal wouldn't have been struck with Red Bull, then the reserve position, I think, was to go to Darlington and reform and stuff, but I don't think people understand the enormity of what that would take. The lack of investment for whatever reason in Newcastle over the last 5 to 7 years, let's be honest, not 2, is significant. And it'll take 2 or 3 years of real core investment into the fundamentals, academy, medical, sports science, all the rest of it, facility, to get us on an even keel, So I think it was near the precipice, I really do. But thank goodness that the powers that be have decided that rugby looks like a good investment for Red Bull and for the game en masse, not just in the northeast or the north of England.
Steve, you don't need a couple of old goal-kicking 10s up in the northeast, I told you.
I do, actually.
We'll chat off air.
In fact, Dan, you're more chopsier than I am, so I take all the bands at the moment.
Steve, just that you mentioned about obviously the next couple of years in terms of needing the financial support to get you back up to a level. Does this deal give you the ability maybe in 2-3 years' time to spend a little bit closer to the salary cap?
Well, I think, if I'm honest, we sat down, we put a plan together for this year, and this year was getting everything behind the scenes, so trying to put a competitive team together, which was difficult considering, it makes 35 days since Red Bull bought the club.
Yeah.
The time to recruit is 12 months in advance, as you lads will know, but what we managed to do is go around the world and pick 8 to 10 lads who are hardcore players, played a lot, 2 or 3 getting on a bit, 30, 31, 32, but to be fair, anybody who's been around with me, I know how to look after these sort of lads, if I'm honest, game time, management of the bodies in the week.
I'm in, Dimes.
So, and I think get this year out the way, get to November, just get 4 or 5 weeks in the Prem under our belt, and we'll find our feet a little bit. Then the other other 5 or 6 players will join us. Lads like Tom Christie, the Argentinian scrum half will come in. Bota Chamberlain, the fly half from the Bulls, will arrive, and then we'll have a steady team. And I think the job in hand will be, common sense wise, to the retention of the current squad, and then there's a plethora of internationals available next year, and however we move around and select players coming in, and recruitment's a really important job of coaching staff, of players, of management. I think we've got 6 months to get that bit right, and then if we do go to cap in the next 2 years, 3 years, which I'm pretty sure we will do, any coach who comes in working with me, or if I'm not around, any coach that comes in will be saying, listen, I've got to spend salary cap to compete with the Baths of the world, the Sarries of the world, the Quins of the world. And that'll be fair. I'm pretty sure the Red Bull understand that mentality. And then it comes down, because it's not easy, this. Not going to be won by just having Red Bull on the tag. Well, you need to put the best coaching teams together. They understand the culture of the place in the North East, which, is a hard-working environment. You need to understand that we need the best players in the right positions, selective recruitment. And from my experience, and I'm probably the longest-serving coach knocking around at the minute with 5 years under my belt, if you can do that with a good academy, you stand a real good chance. My old club, Sale, if you look at them at the minute, they just names keep popping out, all born within 20, 30 miles of Manchester. And, that was because the processes were put in place 10 years ago, and Sarries are the same and what have you. So there will be a little bit of go out and handpicking celebrity players. I think we need to do that. And that's what Red Bull will hopefully give the authority to whoever's doing that selection process to do. But I think, with me involved, you can't get away from the academy producing 60% of your lads in the next 3 or 4 years.
And then just in terms of, you talked about some recruitment stuff, I bet you're having very different conversations with these agents where last year you're trying to keep older players and they're like, well, I need to move them on. And now they're all phoning you up going, I've got so-and-so, I've got player X, I've got player Y. Have you had a pay rise as well, Dimes? I hope so. Saved the club, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, people like Callum Chick, Adam Radwan, Jamie Blamire, if the deal would have been done in February, these guys would never have left.
Yeah.
The Newcastle lads through and through. But we sat down when we didn't think it was going to come to fruition. I sat down honestly with the three of them and advised them for ambition, the best thing to do was leave. Do I regret doing that now? Well, I don't know, because if it would have gone the other way, we're in a position where, we could be playing out of Darlington or not. They may not have jobs, and I didn't want that responsibility on my shoulders. Lads with young kids, all the rest of it.
Yeah, man first, Dimes. We know that that's what you are. I want to ask a little bit more about the Red Bull relationship, if I may, because anything that Red Bull have touched has been a success, right? Yes, they're an energy drink, but they're so much more than that. They're a media house. They collaborate with some of the greatest athletes across multi-different sports. How will the relationship look like for rugby as a whole, but like you guys specifically? Do they have input into the rugby programme? Are they looking to build like a content ecosystem? Have any of them stuff been ironed out yet?
Well, I think the first thing that they've done, they've brought the specialist people in. In the rugby department, for example, we do a remarkable job with the resources that we've had, and certainly I'd always worked on the premise that if we get somebody in, they'd be impressed with the Newcastle lads. They'd be impressed with the people behind the scenes, because they work hard, little resource, but we actually do a bloody good job, And they sent their specialist people in last week to sit with our strength and conditioners, sit with our medics, sit with our nutritionists, and they've gone away with some ideas of how they can assist, some short-term things, some long-term goals of high performance, improvement for recovery, etc. But overall, they've been happy with the way that was delivered, which is really pleasing for me and the staff. We always knew we were on the right path, but it's always good when you get an organisation like Red Bull who are specialists in these areas, the high performance areas, and they come in and I wouldn't say they give you a rubber stamp, but it's certainly positive vibes that we've got out of it.
Have they give you insurances on the length of the deal, like how long they're in it for? Because I know that they're trying to get into sport. I think they're doing something with Leeds. I don't know if they're front of shirt sponsors for the Leeds football team as well. How long is this looking like initially? What are the plans?
Well, Jim, I think, if I'm honest, that question, and take this positively as mates, that's a negative thought in the Red Bull environment. They're there for good.
Yeah, stop being negative, Jim.
Oh, that's
They're
great.
there-
Stop
they're
looking
there
for a way
forever.
out.
Well, you know
Jim.
what, actually, Steve, and that's great to hear, because sometimes there's a lot of negativity around our game. We started off this podcast and said that we are going to make sure that we are a positive voice, and the fact that we've got you on talking about this partnership is mega, not just for Newcastle, but for the game. And it's just, I would just want to make sure that it's not oh, here you go, this is happening now, and then it filters out.
No. It's not the here and now. They're there. You know, they want to be. They want to be challenging for the top honours in the next 2 or 3, 4 years, and the infrastructure that they bring and their marketing they bring. I'm pretty sure that the rest of the league will learn off them. You know, as they're learning about their other sports, their team sports, their cycling, their motor racing, their football. They're experts in team sport, but they on their own admission, they know nothing about rugby. They love the physicality of it. Now, the Prem, it's rebranded itself and it's changed, and we're talking about the physicality. We've not been able to talk about physicality for 5 years in the game, have we?
True, very true.
Inclusion, though.
It's madness, because if I originally from Manchester, now in Newcastle, the 3 big football teams, football's non-contact anymore. If we're going to create some media circus around rugby, then we want to be seeing how physical it is. I read this morning Tom Curry played with dislocating his wrist in the Lions tests. I mean, we got blokes who it's brutal.
Warriors.
And it is. And, I'm perceived to come from that old school of that mindset, but it's not. The difference from now and then is they're just bigger now. The levels of fitness are ridiculous, and it's a privilege to be involved, me coaching them. But, for the spectator coming in, once this is packaged correctly, and I'm pretty sure with Red Bull's media connections, with the way they promote their other sports, then we could they'll be attracting a whole new audience, hopefully.
Well, these 2 lads have put their hat in the ring. I am now Zerka squatting 120 kg dime, so fuck it. Can I put my name in the ring? I'll run through a wall for you and Red Bull.
Well, it's funny, Jim, because I've got Scotty McLeod coaching with me.
Is he back? Was he out for a bit? Is he back in?
He's definitely back in for a year with me.
Mate, he is one of the last great blokes.
And I said to him about Jim, I said, hey, come on, what's it like? He said, Dimes is the most aggressive spectator I've ever played with.
That is so true, James.
Just say aggressive, okay? I am rugby. That is what I'm saying. Forget the spectator part.
Yeah, so he said to me, you'll never get it out on the podcast. I said, you wait and see.
There we go. No, mate, he's a good man. And that's the thing, Dimes. Like, again, it's easy to pass judgment. And I say this, and, we speak off air. Producer Rob's from the north and, loves that team. It would have been awful. I know it was awful to see Worcester go. You were involved in everything that was going on there, and Wasps and these teams with history and London Irish. But to lose a Newcastle with the players that you've produced and the soul and the heartbeat of the city that I know is largely football. When I saw it happen and we kind of spoke about it, you had everything crossed that it was not just a rumour and that it was going to happen. So it's fucking great.
You know what? I read a thing actually about Eddie Howe when he came up to coach the football team, about how when he looks for people, staff, as I've working up here for a couple of years, he doesn't look further than Newcastle. He said the loyal, hardworking, real salt of the earth people who, who really want to help the football club. And I've got to say, and the lads there when you were there, Goodey, Mark Laycock and John Stokoe and
great
Mickey
blokes.
Ward, these blokes are unbelievable. They've not paid me to say this. These guys are remarkable people. What they have gone through in the last 3 or 4 years of having bloody no money and, push from pillar to post, coach after coach after coach, is remarkable that they've got through it with and now they've all got an opportunity in front of them to show how good they can be with the right resource behind them, and I'm pretty sure that most of them will do.
Yeah, 100%. Are they thinking that I'm remarkable as well, or are they happy I disappeared when I did?
Oh no, they speak very highly of you.
Oh,
Very, very
They
highly.
didn't say it was a nail in the coffin when it came to the finances, no?
No, Goody. They call me the soft southerner because I'm from Manchester.
Yeah.
Nice, mate. It's great to see, and obviously exciting start on the weekend, beating Harlequins in front of over 9,000 people. Rob was there. Rob's too shy to say anything now because he's like fangirling you like you wouldn't
But
believe.
he's actually not from Newcastle, he's from Sunderland. But when you said like hard Northerners and Newcastle, he's like shoulders back. You're from Sunderland, mate.
From Teesside, mate.
All
okay,
right, relax.
all right,
But, mate,
Newcastle.
Dimes, we wish you all the best for the season. We'll keep a close eye on how everything's going, and it's brilliant that Newcastle have got the investment. Jim's not happy with the badge on the Red Bull badge. He wants to work on that, but apart from that, it's all good and it's all go for the season.
Great, lads. Thank you for having us on. Don't make it as long next time.
Okay, don't. We'll get
You
on.
come
Good
on
luck,
whenever you
Dimes.
want, Dimes. Cheers,
Dan,
mate.
give us a ring.
I will do.
He's taking the chômage, mate. He's all right. He's got the chômage in France.
We'll chat soon, Dimes.
Cheers, fellas.
Thanks,
boy.
mate.
Top
Top bloke.
Yeah, he is.
Rugby man till he dies,
Top bloke.
isn't he? And we've spoke about it before. You'd run through a wall for him. And there's some great coaches out there, but you talk about a geezer, right?
No, he's not from London. He's from Manny.
Okay, well, I don't know what they call
He's
it.
got the geezer feel to him,
He
though,
has
hasn't
got a
he?
geezer.
Yeah.
He's a wheeler and dealer,
Yeah.
and he is a hustler. And when he took that job, and I know he tried to save Worcester, we had him on the show, like we did a load of stuff around Worcester.
Yeah.
When he took the Newcastle gig, you were like, something could happen, and we were speaking off air about it loads. Rob's a Newcastle fan, like you are.
Why
aren't
were you
Rob?
so quiet then, Rob? Rob was like,
He's nervous. Yeah, go on. Just tell us what it means. Like, genuinely, let's go into that. You went to the game as a Newcastle fan, which you are and always have been. How does it feel?
I mean, it's massive. I think not just for the club, though. Like, obviously, I'm from Teesside. It's an hour and a bit away from Newcastle. But I think more so for the game. If the most northerly rugby union professional team
Yeah.
In England.
Yeah.
was Manchester, that's terrible for our
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
you know, you said, look at all the players they produced
Historically,
historically, and
unbelievable.
even just now, some of the best players in the Prem are from Newcastle,
Yeah.
from the Northwest. If we lose that team, like we lost Yorkshire team with Leeds,
Yeah.
we lose Newcastle. It's a game played in the South, isn't it?
Do you know what I loved about that is he's still talking about you need 60% from your academy.
yeah.
And you think now they've got the resources, hopefully, to be able to keep these kids. And like he said, fair play to him. The biggest thing I took away from that, he told Callum Chick to go to Northampton, Adam Rabwam to go to Leicester. Who's the other one?
Lamar.
And Jimmy Blamire has gone to Leicester as well. He told them to go. A lot of DORs would have lied, or not lied necessarily, would have said, no, mate, your future's here, don't go. It might come. But he obviously said to them, go, because that's the best thing for you. But now, you know, they won't be regretting it, obviously, because they're enjoying a new journey. Radman scoring tries for fun and Callum. But the future is obviously bright for Newcastle with that investment and the amount of schools and amazing rugby clubs, junior rugby clubs that are up there that produce these young kids coming through. That's the biggest thing. It's not, I'm getting my checkbook out, I'm getting RG Snyman, I'm getting Cheslin Colby, I'm getting this. And there will be
We'd
some,
have RG, though.
yeah, but there will be some Stardust players, but that's not necessarily his driver. And if you think about Newcastle over a long time, the players that have come through and left, if they'd had the funds or the support to keep them, they'd be an amazing club.
But that's why as well. I think he's got the group. Sort of when you walk into a room, he's got presence, doesn't he? Because he's so honest, because he calls it as it is, etc., etc. And you could tell. You can just imagine when he walks into a room or when he presents, you can hear a pin drop, probably, can't you? In terms of he's got the players back, and
You know you're getting chinned if you say something out of line, right?
But I think as well, Rob, you make a good point that the league needs it and the country needs it, having a northern club above Manchester, but also like the league needs it as well. With only 10 teams in the league at the minute, it needs those 10 teams to be super competitive, and ultimately Newcastle and Exeter last year weren't. So when you have a 10-team league, you need everyone pulling in the right direction so that every game is competitive and every game matters. And hopefully with this, with someone like Steve at the helm, with that money coming through, with the importance of the academy system, new coaches, and we just spoke about, it's not just going to be an RG Snyman or a Colby. It's going to be better coaches, better facilities to help those boys come through and break into the first team and make the league even better as well.
Well, lads, we've been away for a bit, haven't we?
We have.
We have, yeah.
A couple of holidays.
You've had a couple of holidays.
Yeah, good.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
Your life's one big holiday. Hold on a minute. Living in the south of France, getting paid by the French government to not work. That's a bloody great holiday.
We'll have to see if we can edit that bit out, Andrew. Thank you.
Truth again.
But we've had some other news going on, haven't we?
We have had some other news.
In other news.
In other news. In other news, Biggs.
In other news.
In other news. Yes, there is a lot of news that has gone on there.
Lee Blackett to England. That's pretty big
that's
news.
big
Very
news.
big news.
That's
Very
big
big
news.
You'll
news.
be happy about that, are you, Goody?
Very happy. I messaged Lee over the weekend. First and foremost, he's a smashing bloke. And then you look at and speak to anyone that's been coached by him, he's a real forward thinker. The impact he had at Wasps and how the style of rugby that they played, he then obviously Wasps goes belly up. He moves to Bath, and the job he's done there under Van Graam. And if you watch a Van Graam Munster team, it was very different to a Van Graam Bath team. And his understanding, his intelligence, the way he looks at the game, he's had big impacts with England A. He coached them as assistant coach. I think he was head coach as well last year. But most importantly, I'm really excited by it because if you watched England against Argentina over the summer down in Argentina, which Lee Blackett was the attack coach for, the way we played was phenomenal in terms of the shape, ball movement, lines of running, options, and it's very different. And I tip my slipper to Steve Borthwick here because if you think about the evolution of England under Steve at the World Cup, which is 2 years ago now, everyone was booing because we're just kicking it. And then at Twickenham, a year later, same thing was going on. And he's evolved the team, he's evolved his coaching setup, and he's got, in my opinion, the best coach, certainly in England, if not in terms of attack, if not Wales, Scotland and Ireland as well. Lee Blackett, you speak to anyone, he's held in such high regard. A great thinker of the game. Looks like Ian Dowie. He won't thank me for saying that. And
He does actually.
Yeah, I'm giving him a bit of stick. But he's a great bloke. But more importantly, he's an unbelievable coach. And Steve has evolved into thinking, I've got some talent here that I need to use, and I need a coach that understands how to attack. And you speak to Finn about him, right? And I don't know if you spoke to Finn about this, but I've spoken to Finn Russell quite a bit. And the balance and the understanding of, we all look at Finn and go, oh, fucking amazing player, chucks it around everywhere. He doesn't. He's got a very astute side of his game as well with his kicking game and game understanding, game management, which Lee's helped him with. It's not just chucking it around everywhere, but my God, the boy knows how to coach and attack, and it's very exciting for England fans.
I think you made a really good point, Goody, in terms of like everyone who's worked with him has got good things to say about him.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Davis saw something he put on social media. It's just saying like, what an appointment.
because he did the Scarlets as well, didn't he? I forgot
did
about that.
the Scarlets for a short period as well, and just
after Wasps
and improved them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sign of a really good coach. Is a coach isn't. Yes, you can have coaches who put structures in, plays in, etc., whatever it is. But the best coaches for me improve players.
Yeah,
whether
it's a feel, isn't it?
whether you're an academy player, whether you're a 20 capper, or whether you're a world class talent like Finn Russell, there's always room for improvement. And you look at Finn Russell's game. I think in the last 12 to 24 months has gone up probably a few levels.
Yeah.
And there's no coincidence that
His golf shit. I play golf the other day. Fucking terrible.
But there's no coincidence that he's worked alongside someone like a Lee Blackett.
Yeah.
And that has taken it, got his understanding and got him to understand that it's not just playing all the time. There's the kicking side of it. Can you turn the kicking game into an attacking option?
Yeah.
And I look at someone like Lee Blackett, I look at someone like Sam Vesti, who also has you look at the crop of players in Saints who he's improved, Furbank, Freeman, Mitchell, etc.
Yeah.
And you think
Vince
those are the coaches you want at the top of the game, aren't they?
Yeah. It's a wicked signing, and tip the slipper to Steve Borthwick for evolving, for seeing it, and Lee obviously had a massive impact on this tour in Argentina. Any England fan, go back and watch those games. And I know it wasn't fully loaded Argentina, but it was more loaded Argentina than it was a loaded England. And to go down to Argentina where they fucking hate the English. I played there. It's a tough place to go for English people.
It's funny that everywhere you go,
it's
a similar theme.
Yeah, my dog likes me. I don't think the girls indoors like me at the minute too much. But it's like the impact and the shape that we played in, and how Steve can only tip the slipper to him for changing his mentality and allowing, hopefully, Lee Blackett flourishes in this role. And I'm massively excited now about this England team and where it can go.
Just get into the negativity. Go on.
So he wants some negativity. Dan, over to you. WRU again. I mean, we've hardly spoken about this. What's going on?
Well,
you're on some board. There's only going to
Are
be
you on the board?
There's only going to be two clubs.
Looking at purchasing a majority share in the Scarlets. So,
Scarlets aren't going bust, then, are they? I mean,
I've heard the Scarlets are going.
Well, this is the thing for me at the minute. I don't know. Nobody really knows anything. I think the preference is to go down to 2.
Who would you pick, Dan?
Well,
if you had
from
to pick two.
what I could get, I'm not going to. I think they're going to pick I think they're going to keep Cardiff being the capital region.
Yeah.
And then I think it generally will depend on, do they have an east and a west? I wouldn't know who to pick because the Ospreys don't own their stadium. The Scarlets do own their stadium.
Well, basically, you're saying you don't know who to pick because you played for the Ospreys and now you're involved with the Scarlets.
No.
Are you involved with Scarlets?
No, I'm not involved with Scarlets. I'm on the board for an advisory board for a company. I'm on the advisory board for a company who are looking to purchase the Scarlets and give them some advice or an inside
I'll give
track
some
on Welsh
advice.
rugby.
Fucking pay more for it and let's get money in the
Can
game.
I give my views on this and maybe you can just go a bit deeper as well?
Just quick, the only thing I would say is I think like if there's a situation where there's like 2 teams which can go into like the Gallagher Prem or the Prem.
What, 2 that could go in there and 2 that could stay in Wales, or 2?
No, so 2 where if you're going to go down to 2 and it's like, right, okay, we're going down to 2, but they can slot into the Prem.
Why can't they stay in the URC? We don't want them.
I actually think the
Cardiff
Prem.
in the Prem.
I think the Prem needs almost like a couple more teams for like an extra
Not the
game
Welsh.
per weekend.
Not the
And if you combine the 2 teams, you'd have okay squads at the minute. You know, certainly Newcastle, Exeter, and things like that from last year. So, but look. The bottom line is it's another mess, isn't it? And I think over the next month or so, it's going to find out. But this is the one thing which has been really frustrating over the last 12 months. I'd say like my expertise would lie in actual on-field stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it costs for the union to get rid of 2 teams. I don't know what the
Saves,
TV...
don't you mean saves as opposed to costs?
But I don't know what the contract says about staying in the URC.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people... Like, this is the frustration from my end, is that you're asking a lot of the ex-players' opinions about nothing to do with rugby. Now, if you're asking me who should they play at 10, who should they play at 12, whatever, what the tactics are, etc., like, I'm happy to give an opinion. But like when it comes to things like this, I don't really understand why so many ex-players, in a sense, are being consulted, because I don't know any of the details of these contracts. I don't know any of the details of the league stuff and things. And I'm just a little bit like, let's try and focus people's expertise
100%
on what they know.
That I was going to say they have the wrong people, or they've had the wrong people in the room making decisions on things that they are not experts in.
Well, me myself, like I don't know any of these details.
There you
know
go.
what I mean?
So you'll have an opinion, but it's great that you've said.
Yeah.
I think I heard Sam Warburton saying, "Like, I'm not a businessman."
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of and that I respect that for people to say that. But there's a lot of people that will bluff their way through.
Of course it will, and that's what our game
I don't
has
mean
had.
players necessarily.
But
I mean
one
people in
thing's
those
for
jobs
sure,
that would bluff their way through that and go, I know everything, yeah.
But the uncomfortable truths are, and we had this same conversation when we were talking about the Premiership or the Prem, when London Irish and Worcester and Wasps went, something ain't working there. So unfortunately, someone has to press that nuclear button, and the cause of that is, well, we cannot afford. That's obvious. You can see that to carry on in the vein in which we're going.
That's exactly the point. You cannot have 18 defeats on the spin, everything that's gone around with it, etc., and do nothing. So there's one thing that everybody agrees on: something has to change drastically.
Get Red Bull in.
What?
I just hope that the people that they're aligning with, and it seems they're very English, the people who are delivering the message, have the people that are involved.
Go on, name names.
I'm not naming names.
Why?
I don't need to because I can't remember the names. I just heard the accent. Abby Tierney's English, isn't
Abby
she?
Tierney, Dave Redden. Yeah.
Dave Redden,
Redden's English. Okay, so we're starting to name the names.
Go on then, name some more.
Don't need to name anymore. They're the ones that I listen to. But you just hope, for the sake of Welsh rugby, that these people making the decisions understand deeply business
and Welsh rugby,
sports, media, entertainment, the direction that they're going, and they have access to it. Like, it would be like me reading the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
I'm passing a bit of opinion.
You can't read though.
That's exactly right.
There
That's
you
the
go.
exact point, Andrew.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be reading it. I'd be looking at it.
Yeah, looking for pictures.
Looking for pictures of the demise. But look, and it's very uncomfortable for people. Welsh rugby are in an uncomfortable position. But the positive for me looking at it, they're doing something about it. And, you know, bringing Steve Tandy in and bringing Danny Wilson, who have got an impossible task for now, Biggs, which they have. But for me, like Australia, there's a heartbeat there,
Yeah.
and there's an appetite in your country for your fellow countrymen and women to have a team which unifies a country, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how big Welsh rugby is to Wales.
And Lewis Rees-Zammit's back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, of
that's
course.
a big sell as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think excitement. You talk about excitement with Red Bull and and things like that. But having him back to give a bit of a boost at a time where it's desperately needed
Yeah.
could well be a big plus in Wales. Yeah.
On Lewis Rees-Zammit, what about all those helmets that were like, he didn't make it in the NFL? I'm like,
Yeah, but that's what happens, isn't it?
yeah,
with
just
people.
muppets. You let the lad follow his dream and give it a go, and then he realised actually it's too hard, or I'm not going to make it because of X, Y, and Z. And
Well, I
we
think
said it on
he's-
here, didn't we?
Yeah,
It'll be great to have him back, and I am pumped for Bristol and him to be back in a Welsh jersey as well.
He said he was looking for a club in Saint-Tropez, but they haven't got there's no Saint-Tropez RFC yet, so he's working on it.
and that's what I mean. As we look forward to the season, that was a bit of negativity about Welsh rugby. They're trying to sort themselves out. I'm hearing some interesting stuff around the URC and potential an American franchise potentially coming into that. So now it feels like we're starting to have some honest conversations, pressing the nuclear button if we need to.
Yeah.
I say we loosely, the game of rugby, pressing that. The integration of Red Bulls, just need alignment of the calendar.
Well, we've been talking about that we've been going 10 years. We've
Told you
probably
though.
been talking
Central,
about that for
what
10
did I
years.
say? I just get things right though. What did I say about England 8 years ago? Central contracts are where? Just around.
Just around the corner 8 years ago.
Hey, and I was right.
They're still not central contracts, though, are
Yeah,
they?
but
Really?
they are. Well, you can call them whatever you want. I
Proper,
call them
right.
central contracts.
Right, let's finish things off with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, few bits of good this week. Basically around French rugby, World Cup rugby, and the Rugby Championship. We're going to start with Argentina. They beat the Wallabies 28-26 in Sydney with some scintillating attack and Carreras kicking his goals for fun. Over in the top 14, Toulouse, Lyon, Toulon, Pau, and Bayonne all start the season 2 wins from 2. So big shout outs to them. Biggs, you retire and Toulon are 2 from 2. What? Did you say what?
They made any big signings?
Zach Mercer.
Oh yeah, I saw that. He's fit as
Zach
well. He's
Mercer,
back playing.
Back playing. Yeah, they're a bit of a quite a bit of a quiet spell actually in terms of signings. But yeah, Zach Mercer was the main one.
Interesting.
Must
how
have
he
freed up
goes.
some coin for you retiring now. Anyway, let's move on. The Barrett brothers, how good.
Ridiculous.
Every time I see the three of them in the anthem, they stand together. Just think of the old boy, the dad, not their old boy, the dad. You produced 3 All Blacks, and they played their 300th test collectively at the weekend. So,
That's one of the coolest things in our game.
yeah,
Seeing
massive
the
shout
Barrett
out
boys doing their thing.
to Scott, Geordie, and Bowden. What else? USA. USA!
Yeah,
We are
USA.
going, James. We're going to the USA.
We had next
Not
month.
long. Yeah, not long. Anyway, they beat Samoa 29-13 in the 5th place playoff of the Pacific Nations Cup and therefore qualified for Rugby World Cup 2027 in Australia. So big shout out to the Eagles, USA Eagles. But the Goode this week goes, James, where's it going?
There's so many good things. Look at me. There's so many good things. Give me a hint.
Your Springboks.
Okay,
That's
that's
why I
fine.
came to
Yeah,
you.
okay.
43-10 hammering of the All Blacks in Wellington. Damien Willemse and Cheslin Colby were silly good in the second half, which they won 36-0. So the Goode this week goes to Razzie and all his Springboks for absolutely pulling the pants down of the All Blacks in their
Here, here.
stadium of Wellington. The bad, few bits of bad. Top 14. Montpellier, Castres, Clermont, Montauban and Perpignan have all played 2, lost 2. So not good starts to the season for them. We just spoke about the Welsh Rugby Rouse. That's brewing on. That gets mentioned, the bad. But the bad this week, really quick and simple, goes to the All Blacks. Their biggest ever loss, 43-10 in Wellington. People calling for them to never play a test match in Wellington again. Bad news for Scott Robertson, under the pump. The Aussies coming to Eden Park in a couple of weeks. Massive
great.
game that is, but they're still top of the log. Imagine that. And then the ugly, 2 bits of ugly this weekend, and they're 2 bits from the top 14. Orange cards. Did you know about that, James? Big, you'd have known about it. Orange cards. So not a yellow, not a red, but an orange, 20-minute red. Effectively, it is an orange, and you can replace them after 20 minutes.
Like it.
So there's 2 at the weekend, and the first 2 that were given, I think they're reds, to be honest. But Rob Simmons, Aussie second row.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? He normally loves a red.
Well, not only is he an Aussie second row making his debut, but he's gone after one of the French pin-up rugby players, Gregory Aldreet. Fucking smashed him in the face with his shoulder.
That's not all right.
No, you don't do that to one of the top French boys. So Rob Simmons, he gets shouted in the ugly, as does Roman Taufi-Fanua for the same shoulder to the head on Pazrello, the Bordeaux scrum half. So 2 bits of ugly, 2 orange cards. They can share it this week.
I'm surprised you didn't put a French woman eating an Irish woman, allegedly.
Well, apparently, but allegedly
Apparently,
you can't.
yeah.
If you haven't seen-
Allegedly.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Right, lads, shout outs to finish.
Yeah, we've got a few, and apologies for the ones that we're not reading out, but we will get through them because we've had a plethora. I said it. I said it. I don't know what it means.
as well. Very well.
That's the first time I've ever said it. I didn't just get plethora. Rob, say
A what? Say it again.
Rob, say
James, say it again.
Plethora.
A what?
A plethora.
No, not a plethora.
What is it?
Plethora.
Fuck.
It's close.
Just say
we-
loads.
Yeah, we had loads. And I'll let you do the first one, Andrew.
Yeah, massive shout out and a get well soon to Lucas Toft from Chichester Rugby Club. He's only 18, and in his second game of senior rugby, he fractured his skull making a tackle. Apparently, he was having a stormer out there, so we wish him all the best with his recovery and hope he bounces back ASAP.
Yeah, so you know when you come high energy into these shout outs and then you start going through them, you're like, fucking hell, he's fractured his skull. But he's all right, and he's a fan of the show, so hopefully his recovery goes well. We're going up to Orkney, RFC. You talk about north, Rob. This is as north can be in Scotland.
Have you ever been?
No, but I was close to going to do a documentary on Orkney and Stornoway
Okay.
when they play each other, but it never happened. COVID, China.
China.
But they got their first win of the Scottish National 3 season, beating Garnock away 22 points to 7, and they had a night out, which means a night out, in Glasgow. Yeah.
My second favourite city.
Of course, yes. So big shout out to Orkney for the big win against Garnock away.
Indeed. And now, next one is to Sherborne RFC, who was so close to a double Ravo's arm this weekend.
Big just
Yeah, you don't know what Ravo's
I
arm
don't
is.
know what a
50.
Ravo's arm.
Yeah, just
Ravo's arm.
Beating Chippenham RFC 98 points to 5, as well as the Cleve under-15 boys, who apparently played their hearts out against Thornbury and got the win 15-12 with a last-ditch tackle to touch to get them over the line.
Well done, well done. We've got some international shout-outs as well.
Wide.
To some listeners in Canada. The Ridge Meadow Bruins under-16s in British Columbia, who have been relentless in their pre-season prep. Also to Michael O'Tere and Michael Makuru, 2 excellent high school rugby coaches in Encinitas.
Encinitas.
It's not Encinitas.
What is it then?
It's Mexican.
I just said it with an American accent.
Nearly, Rob, but you convinced me.
I'm going to say
I was sold.
I'm going to say it's Encinitas in California.
What about the word or the name British Columbia in Canada? Anyway, blows my mind when I see that.
And they speak French there. British Columbia,
Of course.
and it's basically French.
Worldly. They keep coming in. This is a cool one and keeping it in the family. A shout out to Droitwich RFC, who have had a father and son duo as captain of their first 15 and second 15. Really class to see. So a big shout out to Harry and Stu Thomas in Worcestershire.
And finally, lads, we got to the end. The Royal Army Physical Training Corps, the Apostles?
Yes,
Apostles.
sir.
Apostles.
Yeah.
Are going on a rugby tour to Portugal this Sunday.
Oh, go on the lads.
So our old mate Bestie has asked for a shout out. Good luck to the lads. Go well, Bestie.
Yeah, Bestie. I wonder if he's going to bring the dog in the bag.
If you're in Portugal, avoid him.
Yeah, I reckon he's bringing his dog. He's got a cool dog. It's
He
like
has,
a French
actually.
bulldog. He's going to put that in the bag. But yeah, good to hear of you, my old mate Bestie.
Thanks, lads.
Cheers, lads. Enjoyed it.
Good to be back. Season 10.
Who would have thought?
Off with a bang.
Just glad to sit round next to the social. No, what was his role again? Content creator. Rob.
Head of content
Come on.
and creative advisor.
Who doesn't
I need to get back on LinkedIn.
Creative advisor.
I don't know what I am. Like, who am I?
An idiot.
I'm Sean Valjean. There, that's.
Who are you, James? You are
Les Mis.
Big Jim Hamilton, podcaster. It ends
And that's
there.
it. Yeah, I'll take it. Hey, it's not a bad thing.
That's all you need.
But anyway, it's not about me. It's about all of us in the studio. But mainly, it's about our amazing fans. So thank you again for supporting us over these 9 years. We're going to hit this year big. And
Give us some ideas that you want from the season, I'd say.
yeah, let's get the input.
Yeah.
We've got a team together now that they can just be. Do you read the messages, lads?
No.
No.
No, we do. Yeah,
we do read the
Yeah,
messages.
we
So
do.
keep them coming in.
So we should do a tour. Tell us where you want us to come. Golf days. What do we
don't
want
play
to
golf,
do?
Andrew, I
but
don't
you'll
play
be
golf.
great on the drinks
You,
wagon.
you'd be great company on a golf course. Though.
Thanks, Biggs.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
well,
will.
I play golf.
Season 10, let's smash it.
Rugby Spod.
Spotted pod.